In 2003, AMD jumped ahead of Intel by releasing the very first 64-bit consumer CPU, the Athlon 64. The Pentium 4 from that same era, and I believe even Intel's first dual cores, were still 32-bit CPUs. So, being 64-bit, they should be able to run just any modern operating system, right? Let's find out.
It's the Anarchy with me on the exciting guy!
I got this old Acer machine for free, without a hard drive though, and pretty dirty. I still liked it, since it houses the Athlon 64 CPU I talked about in the intro. Let's take it outside first and clean it up a bit. Then some bulging capacitors. I hope the machine still works. It smells horrible though, even after removing most of the dust. So I put a bit of white vinegar in a container and placed it inside the machine for a bit over 24 hours. And it did its job. Or well, I still smell the cigarette odor a bit, but it's at least bearable to sit next to it now. Unfortunately, the machine powered off as soon as it tried to boot anything other than a simple man test. Since we've seen the bulging capacitors when cleaning, I think these are the problem. I don't have the soldering skills to replace them, so I bought another mainboard for the system. Tested it shortly on my desktop and found this one to be working fine. So out goes the bad one. And in goes the new one, which seems to have the exact same mounting holes as the old one. That's a nice bonus. Clean the old paste from the CPU and cooler, and apply some new toothpaste. Now, I hadn't really noticed that this connector was the only unmarked one. This one holds all the buttons and LEDs on the front panel, which are not in the same layout as the donor board. Luckily, there's only one button on the front, the rest are LEDs. So I took my multimeter out and set it to beep mode, so it beeps upon connection, and tested pair by pair by pushing the power button. Found it! I took the wires out and put them in a new connector. Plug them onto the power button pins and the machine came to life. Awesome! Now the LEDs. Since the LEDs are all the same, I just took them out pair by pair and connected them to the power LED pins. Right, that's the hard disk LED. And the, CD-ROM LED? Well, we don't have pins for that on our donor board.
It's the network activity light. Sure, of course it's the last one. Bam!
After this, I filled all memory banks with 1GB sticks, making it 4GB of memory in total. The system, however, shows only 3.3GB of memory. As seen here in this memory test, it does seem to recognize all 4 1GB sticks. And yes, there's shared video memory, but that only accounts for 64 MB. This mainboard should be able to take 4GB. Ah well, for 2006 standards, this is quite a lot of memory already. I'll plug in an SSD. Yeah, I still don't have a 3.5-inch bracket for that. And install Linux. I won't go for a minimalistic distro, as I feel this system should be capable enough to run a full-blown desktop. I'll go for OpenMandriva. The memory checks out. Look, the onboard video card even has Vulkan capabilities. Let's run the installer. No option to use the whole disk on this one. Let's create some partitions then. Alright, installing. Installation failed. Seems like it just failed to remove some packages. Let's just reboot and see what happens. Alright, we're in. Seems to run quite decent. Watching a YouTube video is not much fun though. Playing Tux Racer is not a great experience either, even after lowering the resolution. You know, I think it's just this onboard card that has issues keeping up driving a 1080p display. I tried maxing out the video memory, but it didn't change much. Here's my old Radeon HT3650 again. A reasonably time-appropriate card that we've seen before on this channel. I'm not expecting this machine to do any modern gaming of any kind anyway. This plastic thingy doesn't seem to like this dual slot video card. Luckily we can just use screws in this case as well. Let's disable the onboard card just to be sure. Playing a YouTube video is fine now. Tux Racer is a whole lot better as well. There you go. I'd say this Athlon 64 is perfectly usable with a halfway decent graphics card from about the same era. That's all I have for you today. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please consider subscribing. By the way, if you like the music you're hearing right now, check Quantum Exile's channel. Oh, I almost forgot. Idle, this setup with the HT3650 card uses around 74.5 watts. In a game of Tux Racer, when the card had to do the lifting, it used around 91 watts. When running a fork bomb, the system used around 108 watts. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time.